It's Bourbon Night. Hello, I'm Chad.
I'm Sarah.
And this is our reacting to the comments in our Best Bourbons of 2022 video.
Yes, and before we get into it, we just want to let you know that we will be delivering on the title of this video.
It's not clickbait, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And be sure to stick around to the end of the video where we will announce a new video series that was all born from the comments in our Best of the Year video. So stay tuned for that.
So this will be a little bit different than normal.
Right, yeah. Ultimately, if we could have it our way, we would want this to be like a town hall where you would all be out there and listening, and they could come up to a microphone and do the discussion. But we can't. We'll just have to get everything that we have to say out, and then we encourage you to use the comments down below to continue the discussion.
Right, and speaking of comments, we appreciate all comments. They help us, we love them.
Sure,
whether they're pleased or displeased, we wanna hear your feedback.
We love comments on all videos, including this one and other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they're respectable, as you said. And comments is sort of what brought us here because of the reaction and the comments of our Best of 2022 bourbons, where we got a lot of comments like these. Wow, okay. No, we hear you. It's all good. It's all good. We've been doing these since 2017. They can be a little divisive. Some people agreeing, some people disagreeing, so on and so forth. It's just part of the game. And normally the comments have always weighed more on the positive.
Right, if not a 50-50.
If not a 50-50 split. But this year, for the 2022 video, I feel like that ratio switched more to, we'll say, displeased or disappointed. Hence, our very first time having a video where
we talk about it.
We talk about it. We want to talk it out, okay?
Right.
So.
Right, and as we discuss some of that feedback, there's kind of two main questions after we review some comments and do some discussion. Two main questions that we want to answer.
That's right, and those questions being, has the bourbon landscape changed more dramatically from 2021 to 2022 than in previous years? And do these comments reflect a growing distaste for allocated and limited bourbons?
And should we change the direction of our channel? Or at the very least, our year-end best of video? But before we answer those questions, we wanna kind of get the discussion going and look at some of the comments that were left on the video. And I think a good way to enter this topic and give some background is to just revisit our approach, our vision when it comes to doing the best of the year each year.
It is the best of the best. Things that we had access to in 2020, we do them blind, and it's really to kind of put them under a microscope, compare them to each other, and see which ones live up to the hype, live up to the price, and which ones fall short, in case you are lucky enough to find a bottle, looking to buy a bottle, or even a pour at a bar.
Right, so for us, it's all about passing that information on to those of you who can buy or try them. All right, so now that we've got that out of the way and top of our mind, let's bring up some comments.
We picked this comment because it sort of encapsulates a lot of the feelings that other people were having that we want to address, but we're also not trying to call anyone out or put anybody on blast, you know.
Like, I get it, but don't. Who is this video for? The less than 1% or the 99%? You're a little in the clouds on this one, considering they're all virtually unattainable. Again, I get that there are the best of the best, but the people who can get these bottles don't need to watch this video. I don't know, I'd say be careful you don't leave your audience behind as you wine and dine in bourbon heaven.
All right, so there's a lot there to address, and we want to kind of take it line by line. So that first question, who is this for? I guess that really comes down to how you and I, Sarah, perceive the bourbon community.
And our audience.
Yeah, we've always perceive them as bourbon enthusiasts who have varied interest budgets. You're interested in the things you can go out and get, but also the things that might be less obtainable, but that people are giving good reviews to or saying it is the best of the best.
Things that pique your interest that might be a one-day find as far as a buy or try.
Right, so we try to kind of compare it to other communities out there, and I sort of thought of the example of people who are interested in cars. Like, you might be interested in the budget that you can afford and a car that you might actually buy, but if you are a car enthusiast, you may have equal interest in watching a video about the top 10 best sports cars of 2022.
I'm not gonna be buying one.
Right, neither, no, we're not. But I kind of searched that out and went to videos like that and looked through the comments, and I didn't see any that was sort of reflecting what we got a lot in our comments.
Right, like kind of why would I watch this knowing that I'll never be able to own this car? It's more of like living vicariously, just
like
for fun.
The $1 Million Listings shows with houses and...
No, it does kind of make me angry because I'm like, I want that bathtub. But I like to watch it too.
Yeah. again, this is where this is a discussion.
It is a discussion. Are we looking at it wrong?
Are we looking at the bourbon community wrong? And the reason, is it because bourbon is a consumable?
That's a good question. A car is experiential and lots of other things that are, high-end collectibles or that have a range of products within a certain,
Bourbon's
demographic or whatever.
Too, though.
It is experiential, but you can't consume a car. You have it, you can possess it, but then once you drive it, it's not gone. Once you drink a bourbon, it's gone. And so therefore I can see people being like, well, then your money's gone versus just depreciated. I don't know that we're necessarily thinking about our community wrong, but maybe the balance of what is the main focus that they want it to be. So yeah, we'd love to hear, what you think about how we think about you in the comments.
The next part of that comment, you're a little in the clouds on this one considering they're all virtually unattainable. Again, I get they're the best of the best, but the people who can get these bottles don't need to watch this video.
Now true, many of these are expensive and limited, that made this list as seen in this comment.
But as seen in this reply, some are able to find these.
So, since we can't know what's available to everyone and we can't customize the video based on any individual experience, we're kind of just of the mindset that we need to hold ourselves true to answering the question of what is the best thing we tasted of the year. And that's
period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
When you think about it, something that inspired the direction of our channel was getting all these questions about, I'm looking for a very special occasion bottle or pour at a bar, or Chad and Sarah, what's your favorite bottle of all time?
Right. It's my 50th birthday. How do I celebrate? Or it's my boss's retirement. What should I gift him? Something that's hard to find and limited.
As we saw in the comments, people weren't happy with how it shook out blind. If it helped one person, and we know it did because, there are comments scattered about, I was able to find this bottle, glad this one came in this number, da-da-da-da-da. You do have those people who get those bottles, and should we cut them out of giving a review or giving validity to just how good these things really were because other people are upset?
Right, and I don't think so because, as the person pointed out in the comment, they don't think it's valuable for those people who are shopping for these bottles to see a review. I would have to disagree because I feel like if you are in the market for this type of bottle or you are wanting to hunt something, I think that you are probably doing a little bit of research and trying to figure out where you should be directing your time, energy, and money.
Yeah. Now, as one commenter pointed out, you only have these if you have a bunch of FU money. So sure, there's going to be some of those people who buy it just because they can or they want to show off. But we've seen a lot of people that we personally know save up or do research and do either a once in a lifetime or once in a long time purchase. So we know that there's a lot of people out there who do want to know these things.
But say you're not one of these people who is looking for that once in a lifetime or once in a long time type of bottle. We as a channel try to create lots of content to address all kinds of different budgets throughout the year. This is just one series that we do right throughout the year. We did have one comment calling for doing a top 10 attainable.
More than one, but yeah.
More than one, but we had, one, you can throw this one up, calling for this top 10 attainable list. So something that you can go out and find on the shelves. Just to point out, we have done stuff like this in the past with our, 50 under $25, 50 under $50, 64 under $30.
Top 5 LE alternatives.
Oh yeah, I forget about that one.
So forth.
I think even if we did try to make that list, it still would be off. It still wouldn't apply to everyone because, what's available to you and attainable to you is unattainable to someone else. We see Buffalo Trace sitting on the shelf here, but it's limit 1 per person. Other people in other areas can get as much as they want, and some people never see it at all.
None.
Now, Buffalo Trace is kind of one of those big examples, but it's just an example.
Sure. And if we did take away all the allocated or harder to find in some areas than others, and we really boil it down to just the well-reviewed, you can walk into almost any liquor store and find it on the shelf. I'm talking about your Knob Creek Single Barrel, your Old Forester 1920, Rare Breed, even though that's a little shaky sometimes. Things like that, we would only be doing the same 15 to 20 bourbons every year, and the order would slightly change from year to year. But to us, that doesn't sound exciting or really helpful to anybody.
No.
You could also toss in some local places, but they usually don't have great distribution, so there's going to be plenty of states that don't get those.
I think it would get a little repetitive, but it's definitely something that we can do a list like that.
Yes.
Just once, maybe.
Once.
All right, let's wrap this comment up and address the be careful you don't leave your audience behind as you wine and dine in bourbon heaven. We are very...
I love that visual, though.
I know, right? We are very fortunate and very thankful to be able to have access to all the things that we do just from doing the channel for the time that we've been doing it. But we can see how if this was the one video you watched from us ever, how it might give you a different view
come across differently.
Of us than how our channel as a whole is reflected. But I will say, like, we covered all of these bottles in 2022 that weren't allocated or limited or high budget.
Yeah, it's almost 50. They're scrolling, or almost 55 actually.
Yeah.
Scrolling here.
Which averages to like one a week, you know?
And that's just produced videos. That's not even counting what we do on live, because I didn't want to go back and watch all of our lives again.
And I don't blame you.
So there's even more, yeah.
But when we look at it from an analytics standpoint, our best of videos are some of the most watched content that our channel has ever put out. And when it comes to like our history, and that tells us that it's a popular topic and one that people are interested in. Now, again, I can't promise that if your interest isn't positive or negative in it, but it is piquing people's interest, you know?
But it also tells us more people watch those best of the year videos than normal. So it could be some people who the only thing they watch from us is that best of the year, which could, support the theory that that's the only thing they think we do.
True, but if you give us just 5 more seconds of your time and search the word value in our channel like library, a ton of stuff comes up. So we feel like we're trying to strike that balance as far as content goes in between, you know, the spectrum of the bourbon enthusiast and the value end versus the high price end.
And everything in between.
Everything in between. But that's just how we feel. We want to know if you guys feel like we're not doing a good job at achieving that. Like, your feedback is very important to us.
Yeah, because it's always good to take a step back and sort of look in that proverbial mirror and just make sure that we're still adhering to sort of like the mission statement that we started in our very first episode, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of that, in our very first episode, we sort of did state this mission statement about
the reason for our channel.
Yeah, what the channel was going to be. And to kind of summarize it, we said it's our mission to continually try new things, new bourbons as they come out, in an effort to find the very best things, or like our top 5, top 10 very best bourbons that we've ever tried. That was stated back then, and I feel like we've been studying that course, and I'm sure not many people watch that or know that episode, but
please don't go back and watch.
It's an awful episode.
Just trust us. Just trust us.
That's why we didn't play the clip. But we feel like we have been staying true to that. But as we said, we want to make sure from you all that you think so too.
Right. All right. So now that we've talked all that out, let's rewind and go back to the questions that we posed at the beginning of this episode and answer them.
Okay. Has the bourbon landscape changed more dramatically from 2021 to 2022 than in previous years? And do these comments reflect a growing distaste for allocated and limited bourbons?
I would say I don't think it's changed more dramatically in one year than it has. I mean, it's roughly been on the same track, in my opinion, since like 2015. And you could say, oh, well, I've been around since 2012 in the community and it's been changing since then. And that might be right. I'm just going based off of my personal experience. Maybe it's changed a little bit more exponentially year over year, but I think it's been on the same path.
I think it's that snowball analogy, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's go back to 2012. It was a snowball, but it was definitely rolling and it was gaining speed. 2015, it was a bigger snowball, more speed. 2022, really big snowball and a lot of speed.
Yeah, I do think that we are seeing, though, because of that exponential kind of change, that we are seeing a bit of distaste when it comes to LEs and just hard to find allocated expensive stuff, because I think that there are some distilleries that have taken what some, including me, could describe as a slightly predatory approach, and I think the educated bourbon consumer can see what's happening and they don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I think it leaves a bad taste in their mouth, along with not being able to find stuff, along with not wanting to pay double and triple and quadruple the prices on secondary. And I get that.
For sure that, because that's also something that popped up a lot in our comments where, you know, I held a bottle of something that was in our top 10 and it was $1,300. Or it was $900 or it was da. And that just pisses people off. And we both completely understand that. So yeah, the secondary, I feel like, is definitely feeding into that. The MSRP rising, the more popularity of bourbon means more people are going after the same quantities of the product. So yes.
Yes, but look at, you know, the interactions on this video. Yes, a lot of the comments were, you know, disappointed, but it got like over 90% of it was in likes.
Yeah, as of a few days ago for you all. The video had 1,337 likes and 46 dislikes. It had a likes versus dislikes ratio of 96.7%. Our channel average is 98.6%. So yeah, lower than our normal channel average, but not
like negligibly. But to go back, you know, to kind of what we said about our mission statement and trying to find the best things that we've tasted, like we see that there is some interest based on our channel analytics and again the interactions, who would we be if we tasted all these things throughout the year, found out what we thought was the best from a blind standpoint, and then just didn't tell anybody?
Didn't share it.
We didn't share it. I guess you could do that, but that's kind of going against our mission statement.
Definitely. For us to not try to seek out as many bourbons as we can experience in any calendar year
Because some people might be disappointed.
goes against our core values. And then even if we did experience those, to not share that information definitely goes against our core values. Like what would you want to watch a channel that does that? Like, serious question.
Serious question. Like, is it better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all? I don't know. You tell me.
Insert cheesy quote here.
There's more, I'm sure.
Or whatever.
So to get to the next part, which is I think a little bit where we're going with this mission statement, like, should we rethink our mission statement? Should we change the direction of our channel?
Or at the very least, the format of our best of the year videos.
Those are a little lower stakes, yeah.
Those are lower stakes. I say to both, no, personally.
Okay.
I say no.
And again, this is for you all to weigh in as well. But again, we're biased because it's us and it's our channel and it's our mission statement. But I have to agree. I mean, we set out almost 6.5 years ago, it'll be 7 years this July, with the goal to find the best thing that we've ever tasted and continuously update our top things we've ever tasted. And that's the pursuit, right? For us, it was the pursuit of finding the best things we've ever tasted and sharing with you all the things we taste along the way.
Yeah, that is the Bourbon Pursuit. That'd be a good name for a podcast. We should do that.
Interesting.
We should take that.
I still feel like that's a valid pursuit. I still feel like that feels right to me. Even if we decide to say, okay, well, that's great, we heard you, but we're still gonna do our top 10 video the same way because it remains true to our mission statement. We still hear all of your feedback and it makes us be like, okay, well, clearly we're missing something. We're not filling enough of a void.
Yeah, instead of a replacement, I feel like it needs to be a accompaniment. Yeah, an accompaniment. So that's sort of what we teased in the beginning of this video, a new series, and we're gonna talk about it right now. So since our very first video ever, we've established was 50 bourbons under $25, and that was back in 2016. And then—
Don't watch it.
Yeah, don't watch it, please don't watch it. And then later we did 50 bourbons under $50, also now pretty old. So to update our first video, we did 64 under 30, which is also now pretty old.
Pretty old.
We need to do another update. And we need to make it even bigger.
Even bigger.
So we're thinking 64 under $100 with a different approach to it.
Yes.
We want you all to tell us what those 64 bourbons should be. We feel like maybe we stretch it to 128 options. It gets voted on. The top 64 become the ones that we do. And instead of doing flights of 4 like we have in those other videos,
head to head.
Head to head.
Bracket style.
Drink this or that style. Blind. But then that way, it would be just like, well, you can't say that month, third month madness because it's trademarked.
The earlier ones, since we can't do 64 episodes, that would be like our whole entire year. Or not 64, 32, you know what I mean? I think we'll do those in like shorts, you know. We'll do short videos and stuff on social media so that you guys can see those matchups until it gets down to the more serious stuff.
And then we'll
make the more produced episodes. What do you think? Does this help?
Does this interest you? Yeah. Is this something you might be into?
Do you want to buy this? Let us know. We want to know, does that alleviate those icky feelings for the people who are like, ugh, this content is not for me.
And then also to kind of explain a little bit more, we say 100, so some people are thinking, oh, it's only going to be high stuff price. Well, when you have 64, you're going to have a pretty good variation. And then also once, let's just say the higher price stuff ends up winning. So eventually we'll be like, okay, the last bottle that was under $25 has now just gone out. Ergo, this is the best under 25.
Right.
Now the best under 50 has gone out. Ergo, this is the best under 50, et cetera, et cetera. So there can be little milestones as we go. Also, you can help us with this in the comments. If you know of a website where you can put 128 options out there and have people vote for it, and then the website tabulates and all that, let us know. We haven't done that type of research yet. This is still very early on.
But we wanted to announce to you.
I really hope this came off as a discussion. We didn't mean for it to be defensive or, hey, look, we're doing things right and da-da-da. As I said, we want to step back and look at ourselves in the mirror and make sure everything's going the way that,
I like mirrors.
I like mirrors.
I like mirrors.
I know this was a long episode and it was a lot, but hopefully you all got something from this and we can start the next conversation.
I thought you were going to say the healing process.
The healing process.
But yes.
I don't think they were that torn up about
fine.
it. Yeah. But
if you liked this episode and other episodes, what should they do, Chad?
subscribe, which you can do so by clicking right up here, or there's suggestions of other videos that won't upset you down here that you can go watch. But thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Chad.
Thank you all. Until next time, just drink more bourbon.